with the kill there. He says, I'm tanky enough. A great fight from Cloud9 on LMQ, trying to get a little too much. A double pickup. What a composition and camaraderie coming in from Lincoln. That's
flash trade, there's Dominic took his hooked up, and down he goes. Not in the right spot. Ulti does not have to save him.
Guys down in, that's going to be a teleport from Shifter as well. They lock down Dyrus. He doesn't have mana to get in or out.
Welcome to the North American League Championship Series. We're bringing you our continuing coverage of the Week 7 Summer Split action live from our studio home in Los Angeles. And being a super week, there are 5 big matches coming your way today as teams battle to move up the standings. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson, and with me is former LCS jungler Clark, Claky D. Smith, and from our Challenger Series coverage, Aiden Zyrene Moon. Guys, thanks again for joining me here at the desk.
Oh, thanks for having us again, Dash.
Of course, Riv, Jat, Freak, and Kobe will be along shortly with the calls of today's games. But first, let's set the table. Guys, the back and forth battle for first continues between Dig and CLG. Now, Dig has a half-game lead entering today, so if they sweep their 2 games against Complexity and Cloud9, they'll finish the week alone in first place. Now, will they do it, Zyrene?
I think they can do it, but I'm going to go with no on this one. I think a 4-0 is really hard to do with the parity in the league. Also, they're playing against Complexity, and you said they just got a half game up. Complexity has the blue shell. They're already 1-1 against them, and also, right now, Dignitas, 4 out of their 5 losses are on the last game of a week, and they're playing 2 today. So that calls into question their preparation. Do they prepare for the end of the week games, and can they prepare for 2 games on the same day? There's a lot of factors coming into this, so that's why I don't think they can do it.
I think they can do it. They came into Super Week really strong. They're playing against Complexity and C9. C9's looking like they're struggling. Complexity is on the bottom half of the standings, and Dig's in their prime right now. So I think they can take 4-0 in the Super Week.
All right, let's switch gears, though, to the 2-time defending NALCS champs. Cloud9, they're struggling. They're 1 game above 500. They're only 2 games above 6th place. Now, what's going on with these guys, Clark?
So the thing about C9 is that a lot of people are trying to pinpoint the problem with them. It's not one individual player. It's the team as a whole, besides Sneaky and maybe Elimination. Their bot lane seems to be performing, but everywhere else they're struggling. And I think the main thing is confidence. We saw yesterday Balls play Renekton into a Jax, and normally Renekton stomps Jax. But Balls wasn't taking the risks he needed to take. He wasn't pressuring the way he needed to, and he ended up losing the lane to Curse's top laner Quas, playing Jax, and they ended up losing that game.
I think another big thing that factors into that, and I agree with you that it's definitely a team effort here, that they're around the 500 mark, is Balls is losing the lane. High is losing the lane. That spreads Meteos thin between them, and the champion pools need to be called into question here. High doesn't really seem to main a champion. He used to main Jace, Ryze, Twisted Fate, all these things back in the day. They got nerfed. He's coming back to Twisted Fate a little bit, but then he ends up losing a matchup against Syndra, and then he plays the Syndra side of it and still loses it again later on in the day. So I think champion pool, and I think the entire league has just gotten better, and they've pretty much stayed the same and actually downgraded 1 step.
All right, well, we'll see if they can kind of work out those kinks and turn their season around. Another team that I want to talk about is Team Curse. Now, they came into Saturday finding themselves in a bit of a deep hole. They responded with 2 huge wins, though, and it seemed like maybe they flipped a switch. What were the factors that went into that?
I think the biggest thing was control. They just controlled the game. Xpecial was huge that game with Thresh, and then later on, he just did an amazing job in the second game of the day, just completely controlling it and keeping his team safe. They only had 6 kills in that entire game, and they ended up on top without even a death after 17 minutes and 30 seconds from the last kill to the end of the game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's due to Quas really stepping up. He's playing really well. You saw his Jax recently, and he was split pushing so smart. He ended the game 1-1-0, so his KD wasn't great, but He had the most CS of any top laner in LCS history, and he wasn't taking any risk that he didn't need to take. He was applying pressure to whichever lane he was pushing, and they just ended up winning the game because of the pressure of Jackson Quas.
All right, Zyrene, you touched a little bit onto the special topic, and I want to continue on with that. He became yesterday the first player in the NALCS history to register 1,000 assists. Now, Clayke, we did a little bit of research, and we discovered that 15 of those assists came against you. Now, as somebody who played against him, I want to hear what makes him so good.
So first off, I want to start by congratulating Xspecial. Congratulations. You couldn't have done it without me.
It's true, though.
But really, Xspecial is really, really amazing. He has 100 games to his name, the most out of any support in the NALCS. He has the experience. He's a veteran. And I think what really sets him apart from other supports is his mechanics and his bot lane matchup knowledge.
Yeah, I completely agree. His knowledge of the matchups is huge. He's also raised a lot of supports in his time. And also the thing to keep in mind is it's 1,000 assists in 100 games. That is huge. There's a lot of people who are going to hit 1,000 assists. You just have to play enough games. So the fact he did it in 100, there are other supports in the league who aren't even close, even though they have 100 games to their name.
Absolutely. Quite an accomplishment. And just for a little bit of context, we're going to take a look at the career assist leaders in the NALCS. The next runner-up is Crumbs, who has 3 fewer games but trails with 786 assists. It's an interesting list, though, because there's 4 supports, 3 junglers, and 1 top laner. And now we're going to try and condense 6 huge games into a neat little bite-sized serving, thanks to your help and the hashtag LCS Big Plays. First up, we have Curse versus LMQ. At Little Gurax writes, Xspecial the God. That's how you carry as support. 1,000 assists? Good job. I know we're hooked for sure.
These items that Kog'Maw gets make him beefier.
What? Another hook! Max range coming from Xspecial. This is going to be a kill on to No Name. One last shot from the Bio Arcane Barrage, but Cop's not in range. No Name will still go down in that fight. Moore's going to be hit up. Another consecutive hook from Xspecial coming in. His thresh play today has been out of this world.
It is safe to say that Curse have weathered the early game storm of LMQ, and skies are sunny now.
Hook City, population, Xspecial, and everybody else is just visiting there. Then, from Complexity versus EG, it's the Helios double. At Cobalt Hater says Helios with the sneak attack, blindsiding Complexity. Roll the Monk.
A lot of flashes to re-engage there, at least one. Helios to the backside! There's too many minions! He gets the Dragon's Rage! He goes in for another one! Helios with the plays into the Dragon Pit to completely turn the fight around!
Helios takes matters into his own hands. That was beautiful. Really big teamfight win for them.
Wow. Korean Lee Sin, OP. And finally, from CLG versus LMQ, Vasily adding a little hip-hop to his dance moves. At Fire Element 6 writes, Vasily with the triple reverse bait. Pop, pop, hop, hop. Here's the Trist with the triple.
It's a slow, but can't get much more than one auto attack down. Afro flash hooks! He catches Xiao Wei Xiao! In he goes! The Zonia's though, it's a bait! Vasily finds one! Dexter's there, they answer back, but it's 2 kills! It's gonna be more Vasily with the triple kill, and out he goes! What a fight for LMQ again!
CLG actually overreaches right there, trying to make too big of a play, and it's LMQ who can actually play the counter-aggression card and come out on top. Completely unexpected.
And pop, pop, hop, hop, he did all the way to victory. And now it's your turn to hop over onto Twitter and share your favorite moments from the day. We're at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS Big Plays. Taking a quick look at the standings, though, it's in first, Dignitas.
Then, half a game back in second, it's CLG. LMQ and TSM share third with 10 wins and 7 losses. And in fifth, it's Cloud9.
After that, it's Curse in sixth, who are starting to pull away from Complexity in seventh. And then in last, it's Evil Geniuses stuck on 4 wins. Kicking off today's action, however, is Team Curse taking on Counter Logic Gaming. Then it's Complexity versus Dignitas.
And after that, LMQ will square off against Evil Geniuses, followed by TSM versus Complexity. And we'll wrap up our week with Dignitas versus Cloud9.
And remember, you can find the entire season schedule and vote for the teams you think will win on lolesports.com.
Just click on schedule and give a thumbs up to your choice. Also, there you can find in-depth game analysis, player and team stats, and VODs of all the games from this year.
You can also find out how to join us here in the studio to watch these teams play in person. Just click the tickets link for all the details. Then click over to Twitter and weigh in on our Twitter question of the day. We want to know, what is the most impressive thing you saw in the NALCS during Super Week and why?
I know my answer is Dash's hair, but share your insight by writing us at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS. Then keep it tuned right here to see if your answers get read later in the broadcast.
Now, the talent of the NALCS is deep at every position this split, especially at support. And one of the latest additions to that talent pool is a guy with a pretty big mustache. Now, it's not Bubba Dub. It's the big guy that Poros like to stand behind.
Brom's a pretty cool champion because when he's on your side, you feel like there's this like big burly mustache man who just wants to like protect you.
Always bring Brom.
And when you click on it, it's like the heart is the strongest muscle.
The heart is the strongest muscle. I'm Brom. I like Poros. I don't know.
Brom is probably the most supporty support.
He has a lot of like peel, disengage, and damage soak.
In the hands of like good players, like I think Kiwi and Afro both play Braum really well.
A good Braum will like time his lead correctly, will stun a certain target, and will tag certain targets.
Nice! Stand behind me and Unbreakable coming in from Kiwi Kid.
Your Q is on a 10-second timer, your shield's on a 20-second timer, and then W is on a really long cooldown as well, and then your ulti is 2 minutes, so every ability counts.
Even if you dodge his skill shots, you cannot dodge a shield, and it's really hard to hit the back line.
His shield literally blocks anything that you're trying to go through him with. So there's AD's like right behind him, you try and hit the AD, you can't.
It feels like you're unkillable.
Oh dear. It's only so big, Kiwi Kid. It's only a big shield. Get out of there alive. Wow, he does stay alive.
When I see a Braum picked, I usually think I can kind of abuse it early, and then it usually sometimes backfires.
His early laning 2-on-2 is actually kind of weak, but he does set up jungle ganks really well with his stun and slow.
They are still going on. One more hit coming in from Afro to lock down the concussive blows. He gets the Winter's Bite on.
His mid game, you let him reach mid game, he's a monster.
A Glacial Fisher goes across the entire team from McSpecial.
You can just go ham. You just dive in, get somebody stunned, throw out your ulti, hopefully knock up half their team, and then just pop that shield, and everybody's focusing you, and then you're half HP because you're not dying, and you just walk away.
Don't worry. Brom was trying a little bit.
Zyrene, what have your impressions been of Braum since he arrived here on the scene?
I think Braum is a little bit of a stronger version of Leona later on in the mid-late game portion. And the fact that he can actually just force himself to soak the damage, he will get a bunch of ultimates focused in on him. There's actually a clip there where we saw Kiwi Kid taking a whole bunch of damage. Once those cooldowns are down, then you start the real team fight and your team will come out on top because you just took all of that beating for your team and just basically brought the W.
Well, the big guy has been picked 6 times and banned 5 times in our last 11 games so far this week, and I'm sure we're going to see him on the Rift today. The players from Curse and CLG are loading into the lobby for our first game, so we're going to take a quick break. The action starts underway in 3.5 minutes.